So apologies for the weirdness of my voice right now because I'm a little bit under the weather, but I really wanted to make a video about new Silverthorn units. So we're gonna be covering them today. Hi guys and welcome to the circus. So yesterday, or at least on my yesterday, the other cards along with Lucky Reverse are finally revealed. Based on the previous video that I made regarding Lucky Reverse, in that video I also shared some of the possible cards that will be reprinted along with her. Not like reprinted, more like retrained. We hit some on the dot, but the other unit is also a possibility that I didn't mention because the grade 2 and the grade 1 are almost in the same skill. No, they pretty much have the same skill actually. But yeah, the previous video that I made is gonna be the context of this video, so if you haven't watched that yet, feel free to watch it first. But if you're already here, it's fine as well. So when it comes to the revealed units, we have a grade 1, a grade 2, and a grade 3, which is Lucky Reverse. The grade 1 is going to be Silverthorn Beast Tamer Anna, and the grade 2 is going to be Silverthorn Beast Tamer Marichika. Before, I already mentioned that I was really hoping to get Marichika as the grade 2, and Zelma as the grade 1. But we didn't get Zelma, instead we got Anna, which is also a possibility that I forgot to mention because Marichika and Anna work together. If you play Vanguard 0, you probably already know what I'm talking about right here. But yeah, instead of getting Zelma as the grade 1, we got Anna instead, which isn't bad at all. So of course, since we got the artworks ready, we also have the description for the skills. So now let's take a look at it one by one. Let's start off with the grade 1, which is Silverthorn Beast Tamer Anna, so grade 1 unit, and the skill description is when called due to your Silverthorn Vanguard, it can countercharge, refund the cost of Lukier. So as I see, it basically speaks for itself. It's a countercharge unit, which I actually didn't expect at all. If you didn't know, Anna's previous skill is a multi-attack skill, not a utility skill like this one. But yeah, Silverthorns doesn't have a countercharger yet, so this makes sense. I was just a bit surprised that they made Anna's skill entirely different than before. And it's not just Anna actually. Marichika also got a very different skill. We'll talk more about that later. For now, let's focus on the countercharge. So currently we only have two different boss units for Silverthorn V, which are Lukier and Venus Lukier. They both cost CB and they also fill up the board but in entirely different ways. Regular Lukier costs 2 CB while Venus Lukier requires only 1 CB and 1 discard. Most of the time I think you're probably going for Venus Lukier instead of the regular Lukier because it's arguably the better one. At least in my opinion as well, I think it is the better one because it's just a CB1 in this card. The CB1 this card for Venus Lukier is actually pretty cheap compared to the value that she gives. So what I have in mind here is that I don't know if Anna is really needed if you're running Venus Lukier. But regardless, a CC is always going to be appreciated. That just means that you have less chances to be damage denied by your opponent. Also, what I'm thinking here is that since we have CC now in Silverthorns, maybe we can now afford to use Breathing Dragon to extend our attacks every turn. As of now, Breathing Dragon is the best way to multi-attack in the deck since we don't have Zelma yet, and Breathing Dragon cost a CB. So if you're gonna use like 2 CBs per turn, you might as well just call a countercharger on top of that in order to at least refund your Lukier's cost, which is what Anna's skill description implies. Before we move on to the grade 2, which is Marichika, let us first take a look at Anna's artwork. Compared to Anna's artwork before, this is pretty much almost the same. She's more zoomed out, so more of the background is shown. And honestly, as I see, that additional background behind her amplifies her charm even more. Her pose is less dynamic as I see, but a lot more charm is added. Basically, less dynamic and more charm is actually not bad of a trade-off. Overall, I really like this design, but I think I won't say the same for the next unit that I'll showcase. So now let's move on to the grade 2, which is Silverthorn Beast Tamer Marichika. First, let's take a look at her artwork, which is honestly a bit surprising on my part. It's a lot different than before. I mean, her style is still the same. She still has the hints of pink and purple, but the background is green. But overall, it kind of grows onto you, like it has its certain charm. Also, compared to before, you can see a lot more detail surrounding her. Right here, I think she has the perfect angle now, and it's a lot more dynamic, and it's so cool. But it's still that green background that kind of makes me a bit awkward about it. But I think over time, it will just grow on me, so I think I can't complain more about that anymore. I think her overall presence right now is just a lot more appealing compared to before. So I think that's fine. So now let's take a look at her skill description, which says, a unit that can soul charge and draw at the same time. When placed from soul, call more allies. So it overall speaks for itself again. What my first impression here is that it can be similar to Flight Sickle and Murakumo, where when it's called via something or when placed from soul, you get the soul charge and then draw, so a bit of plus here and there. Maybe she goes back to the soul as well. It doesn't say how she soul charges or draws. I think she doesn't work when she's placed from soul, because that goes to the second sentence where when she's placed from soul, call more allies. So it's a form of just flooding more cards on the board. Maybe she can create the multi-attack needed. It doesn't say any cost for her. Maybe she's even costless because she already has a draw and soul charge. But I think it's fair to have CB for this skill because it pluses. But she already has plus on her own because she will draw and soul charge, which is a bit contradicting to what I'm saying. If she cost a CB, maybe Ana can possibly refund it in a way. It can be a form of multi-attack with a bit less cost. Like for example, when she's placed from soul using Breathing Dragon skill, instead of just counter blasting one more time for her skill, maybe it's a different cost and then you can just call another card from your soul, which creates multi-attack, which she was supposed to do, at least compared to what she does before. My guess is that the place from soul skill doesn't cost CB. It can possibly be anything other than that. I don't have that much ideas on how she will draw and soul charge, but I think it will not be procced when she's placed from soul, because that goes to the second sentence over here. What I'm happy about here is that she can possibly create multi-attacks, which is the one thing that I really wanted for Silver Thorns. I really enjoyed the old Ana and Marichika Zelma combo, so if that's possible in V using Marichika and Ana, that'll be super fun to play. Now let's take a look at the grade 3, which is Silverthorn Dragon Tamer Lukia Reverse. We've already talked about her artwork a bunch of times already, so let's now just proceed to the skill. So the skill description says that the more locked rear guards you have, the crazier the performance of the Silverthorn will become. Also, if this card is in Lukia's soul, this is very mysterious actually. There's really not much to say, but we can just speculate, I guess. So when it comes to the first sentence, the more locked rear guards you have, that instantly implies that we'll have the locked mechanic here. On top of that, it counts the more locked rear guards you have, meaning it's not just one compared to before. You can lock a bunch of units? That's gonna be something quite problematic in Pale Moon actually, because you need rear guards. But at least you can afford to lock your back row, because as far as I know, you only need the front row. So at least you can lock all 3 of your back rows for this card skill. I'm confused on how much crazier the performance of Silverthorn can be. When it comes to crazy shenanigans in Pale Moon, it's more about multi-attacking and moving pieces during the battle phase, because that's what the clan excels at. Also, the last sentence is very confusing as well. It says that if this card is in Lukia's soul, it's kind of like the reverse of how the cross ride was supposed to work before. It says that if this specific card, if Lukia Reverse is inside Lukia's soul, I don't know what to ask about this, to be honest. But it's pretty interesting, you know, it's a lot more questions than answers. Ana and Marichika still has a bit of questions surrounding around them, but not as much as Lukia Reverse. If you guys want to share your theories about how Lukia Reverse will perform, please leave it down in the comment section so that I can read them, because I'm really curious. And yeah, those were all the 3 units revealed for our Clan Collection Volume 3. So in summary, Ana is basically a counter charge, which is actually very useful because it enables more multi-attack and more opportunities for other previous units to shine, like for example Breathing Dragon. Marichika is overall pretty mysterious still. On top of that, she also pluses you and soul charges, which is actually pretty nice. But overall, the great mystery here is still Lukia Reverse, because what the hell is going on around this unit? I still have no idea whatsoever. It's pretty scary, but it's also pretty fun to speculate. And who knows, right? Maybe Lukia Reverse will become the best version of Lukia in V. So overall, I'm really excited to see their actual skills. And next, let's actually talk about a few more things here. So normally we'll get 7 cards overall per clan collection, right? We normally have 3 to 4 new units and the rest are reprints. But am I just the only one wondering why they didn't reveal the reprints yet? If you guys have some theories or some ideas you want to share, just leave it down in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.